power of attorney does not remove any rights. So if you have your child sign a power of attorney and then they go out and sign up for a cell phone contract, it's logically inconsistent for you then to say, well, they didn't know what they were doing when they got the cell phone contract. So you can't disavow or void contracts with that power of attorney. In fact, as Judge Wolk mentioned, that power of attorney is a contract. And if you were the one that instigated it and you were the one that said, hey, here, sign this, you're the one that's saying this individual has legal capacity. It's going to be real hard for you to turn around and say they don't have legal capacity.
Take this car back.
Powers of attorney can be revoked. And this is a big issue in the mental health arena. And with mental health issues, you might have sufficient capacity to enter into a power of attorney and say, yeah, my parents can talk to my doctors and help make decisions. But during a therapy session, that individual might tell the doctor, I don't want you talking to my parents anymore. That is a verbal revocation of that power of attorney. That doctor is now in the position, what do? If I share information when my patient directly told me not to, I can say he doesn't have capacity or he does have capacity. The doctor doesn't want to be in that position. So guess what the doctor is going to lean towards? Not sharing the information. Under HIPAA, there are no rewards for following HIPAA. There are only punishments. $25,000 fines per incident, and this past spring, the first 2 fines were actually handed out. $4.5 million against an insurance company and a $2.5 million civil judgment against a doctor. HIPAA is going to become more and more of an issue as those cases, lose their appeals and go on. So powers of attorney have some uses, but they are limited. They might not be honored. And here's what Judge Wolk was talking about. That power of attorney can be evidence of capacity. And I actually had a situation where mom and dad had decided, we're not going to do this guardianship thing, we're just going to do a power of attorney. Well, their daughter was in school and all of her friends were talking about going to college and she wasn't going to college. Now this young lady had a very good memory. And she went online and she had memorized mom's credit card number. And the daughter had enrolled herself in an online college. Didn't tell anybody until mom saw an $8,000 charge on her credit card. And mom called the school and said, she doesn't know what she's doing. She couldn't, she won't be able to do the work. And the school said, fine, no problem. If you could just send us a police report about the credit card fraud, we'll reverse the charges. Well, now mom and dad had to decide, do we expose our child to a potential charge of credit card fraud? Do I think that anybody would have really pursued that? No. But it was a risk. They decided to withdraw the student from school. They paid $2,000 and then we went and did the guardianship. Had the guardianship been in place beforehand, that contract was null and void. And we could have gone that route. I think the biggest issue right now facing young adults and entering into contracts is online. Dating websites is a big concern. My most complicated guardianship case last year started because of a relationship that started on an online dating website. Whenever you enroll in one of those online dating websites, you have to click and agree to certain things. Those are all contracts. And if you have a guardianship, you can nullify those contracts and get rid of that profile. In this case, we couldn't do that.